Hello, everybody. Jason with Learn to Survive. Hope you guys are doing well, staying safe, taking care of yourself, and more importantly, taking care of one another. So, I had somebody watch a video I did about 2-3 weeks ago when I was talking about a new holster I got that I really liked, and um, she watched some of my other videos and seen where I said if you have a question and you don't want to ask it publicly for whatever reason, to email me. And she did, and I answered her questions. And over the last week and a half, we've exchanged several emails and kind of got to know each other on a business level. Um, I know what her goals are and how long she's been into everything, and she don't mind me revealing this information. I even thought it was a good idea that I did this video when I asked her about it. So she's only been into prepping about a year, survivalism about 6 months, and 3 months ago got her concealed carry permit and bought her first gun. So she had some firearms related questions. And her first question was about holsters. And as much as I get asked this question about holsters, not so much on here, but in everyday life, it's a question that I've grown to hate because I can recommend a holster and it's going to work for some of you and it's not going to work for others. There's a lot of things to take in consideration when buying a holster. It is a very personal thing. No holster is 100% comfortable. You're going to know the gun's there. There's no way around that. Second thing is body type. The different body types are not going to have success with some holsters. Now, we live in a day and age where materials for holsters and their design are pretty much universal. Minor changes in them, to avoid trademarks and stuff like that. But we'll cover that as I go through the different holsters and what I personally think about them. So let's start out with the most common holster today, Kydex. This is a Faubus Kydex. There's no retention other than a little rubber thing here that adjusts the uh, clamping down of the gun. So this one holds real well if you're running, walking, whatever, but there's no safety. Anybody could take your gun if you got in a tussle, definitely going to get knocked out. And this is just a straight paddle holster. So after about a year of using that one, I decided to upgrade a little bit. I got the Safariland GSL Level 1 retention. These come in a few different configurations as far as what's in the package. This one is got the paddle on it, but mine also came with the uh, option to put the mounting system on there to mount it on a regular, belt. It came with all that. Some of them are just either straight paddle and it don't have the belt option. Some of them are belt with the don't come with the paddle that you would have to order separately, or you can get them with the two options. This one's a level, like I said, a level 1 retention. So here's your release for the firearm. It does lock in there, and this one, there's like nothing to fumble with. There's no, oh, I got to remember to do this or do that. When you go to draw your gun and you put your hand on your gun and you got that grip on it, your fingers should remain here outside of the trigger guard. Your middle finger is automatically hitting and pulling that when you get a proper grip on it and you draw it. I mean, it's just like drawing out of this one. It's a very natural fluid motion, good holster. I'm loving this one. Leather holsters. I first got my gun permit at 18 years old, so back then the only options we really had were either the nylon uh, holsters or leather holsters. And I started off with something like this Bianchi leather holster, and that was for a 1911. And I like the holster. I think that one was Galco though, and not a Bianchi. And I've always loved leather for a holster. I think it's just classy and classic. This one is molded to fit a gun, so it does fit in there snug. Now, the drawback to this type of scabbard holster, even though it's molded to fit the gun, after 3 to 6 months, this leather is going to work itself loose. Your gun is not going to fit in there as tight. So, and this one is outside the waistband, so it is very easy still for someone to take your gun or to get knocked out in a tussle, especially as this loosens up on, as the leather loosens up on you. They do make leather holsters that are going to be more of a duty holster that has a thumb brake safety on it. You know, thumb brake snap to hold it in, a retention snap. But other than that, all these leather holsters maybe a little bit change in the design of them to avoid trademarks, but they're all pretty much the same, whether it be Bianchi, uh, Alco, or Desanis, but they're all great holsters. Um, the next leather type holster I want to show you, some people call it a minimalist holster. It is a slide holster. This one don't do much of anything, and it does not offer any protection to the gun, and does definitely not do anything to keep the gun from getting knocked out if you're wearing this as an outside the waistband holster, or anything from keeping it someone from taking it from you. Now, a lot of these are belt only holsters. This one happens to have the belt loops, and then if you're not wearing a belt, the clip right here that you can clip it onto your pants or clip it in your pants. Um, Normally, I don't recommend these unless you're very experienced with firearms and very experienced with concealed carry, and you use it as an inside the waistband holster. The reason I have this one, where I live, it's not uncommon to see somebody open carry. Um, it's not uncommon to see somebody printing. I live in a very small town. Literally, we are 3.4 square miles, and about a fourth of that is water, so it's very quick to walk across this town. And people walk to the gas station all the time to get a pop or something. They just throw their gun on, they throw their shirt on. You know, they either open carrying or they're printing. It's not a big deal, but definitely when I go into a city and I want to be very discreet and have a more of a deep concealment, I use this one inside the waistband, and it sits very close and very snug to the body. Your pants and belt are holding it tight against you. There again, absolutely no retention, but there is absolutely zero printing with this either. So that is my choice for deep concealment. Another holster that's very common are these nylon holsters. Now, these are fit more for duty or woodsman, and you can find leather holsters like this with a thumb brake snap for some retention. Don't do anything to keep people from taking it from you, but does hold the gun in really tight and would stay in during a tussle unless somebody broke that snap open. This one is just a snap right here. It's not a thumb brake at the top. I use this one. This is my holster I use when I go out in the woods when I'm trapping. Um, you know, several companies make them. This one is a Blackhawk, but Uncle Mike's makes them. And if you actually do your research, Uncle Mike's, Blackhawk, and a few other holster companies that make leather, Kydex, and these nylon holsters are owned by the same company. So in this day and age, that is pretty much your choice for holsters. Now they get into some differences, especially with the Kydex. And we'll stick with level one. We won't go into 2, 3, 4, and 5 different safeties that compete on these. Like this one, your grip automatically disengages the lock. There are some of them that have the locking mechanism up here that forces your finger above that trigger guard. So when you're drawing it out, your finger's riding above the slide and not on the trigger. Helps avoid misfires. Good concept on that too. So that works really well. So that's it for holsters. Now, her other question was, after a few months of carrying her pistol, it was dusty. And she asked if there's any way to avoid that. No, there's not. You're going to carry a pistol, it's going to get dusty. The question is, how fast is it going to get dusty? Are you carrying a small 38 or a mouse gun in your pocket? It's going to get a lot more dusty than uh, carrying inside the waistband or outside the waistband holster. Your clothes also matter. What are you wearing? Are you wearing a nylon shirt like this one here, like a nylon spandex shirt? No dust. You're not going to have any problems. Are you wearing a hoodie? If you are, you're going to have major problems. I mean, my first experience with that in a hoodie uh, was actually with a 1911, and after about a week of carrying it under a hoodie in the winter, that thing had so many fuzz balls in it, I was actually wondering if the hammer would drop hard enough to strike the firing pin and discharge the gun. So how do you prevent that? Well, you're going to have a routine cleaning maintenance because oil is going to attract dust. There's no way about it. Something else I do is I have those microfiber dusting cloths. Unload it, wipe everything down, or what I found to be my best friend for stuff like that, and especially getting dust blown out from behind the trigger and the trigger cracks and everything like that, is this Can Air duster for computers. It'll be one of your best friends. I'd like to say this stuff's cheap, but it depends on where you get it at. It could be anywhere from $4 to $10 a can. So with your concealed carry gun, you're going to have a maintenance routine for cleaning, and that's usually I found to be for most environments once a month, once every 2 months. For me, it's about every 2-3 weeks. Live in a rural area. It's farm country. It is very dusty around here, especially in the spring and fall with planting and harvest. So guns get gunked up a lot more than maybe somebody in a city environment. So you just have to watch and see how dirty your gun gets, how fast it accumulates dust, and adjust a cleaning regimen based on that. Wipe off your gun every day, every couple days. And it also matters on how you store it. Do you store it in a holster, in a drawer, by your bed? Do you keep it on your nightstand? It's going to attract a lot more dust than if you put it in a safe. So one thing you can do is get a small handgun safe that fits in a drawer and keep that on your nightstand or in a drawer. And that is going to help keep dust off it, and it's going to extend the time between actually having to do a little detailed cleaning on it, make sure all the dust and everything's wiped out and blown out, and you're well lubricated and everything else that goes along with firearm maintenance for a concealed carry pistol. That being said, folks, I'm going to wrap this video up. I will talk to you guys soon. And I want to say I do like this question and answer thing here. I think I want to start doing this more. If I start getting more questions regularly, I will try and do a question and answer video every week with some of the questions or all the questions that I get if possible. I really do like this idea, and I hope you guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments or email me, and I'll do more question and answer videos if you guys like. I will talk to you all later.